Welcome to another episode of We Made It to Tuesday. Today I want to talk about leadership and the distribution of tasks. I have 3 jars here. This jar represents a team, say a team of 10 people. This jar represents their leader, and this jar represents the boss of this leader. The volume of the jar itself represents the total capacity of the team. You can see here it's not full. Well, the reason it's not full is because this leader and this boss understand that the team can only handle so much consistently. At the same time, sometimes there's unforeseen tasks, and so there needs to be capacity for that. There needs to be time in the day and in the calendar to complete those unanticipated tasks. Now it's time to cash in on some of that extra capacity. This leader recognizes that production needs to increase for a little bit of time because of whatever unforeseen circumstance, and that's okay. This team is prepared for that, and they have the spare capacity for it. So the leader pours it on. And for a little while, it works. This team does that for a month or 2 or 6 months, however many months they decide that they need to do this for whatever production purpose. This leader understands that that is not sustainable permanently, and that's okay. They all get it. So the team's completed their tasks, they finished their 3 or 6 month period, and it's time to unload that extra task, and it's time to return back to normal. So what happens next? Maybe this boss goes away. Or maybe this leader goes away. We have a change of leadership, some of the team members change, and at some point someone looks at the numbers and realizes, wow, for a little period of time, that team was producing exceptional numbers. Let's make that normal. Now, this leader gets it and says, you know what? We don't need to pile on the tasks. Let's change some of the tasks and streamline some of them. Okay, that makes sense. So instead of adding more, he changes one of them. This team is functioning with the same number of tasks, but some of them have been altered. And that's okay. They found a way to streamline some processes. Great. The next period of time passes and we have a change of leadership. Maybe some of the team members again change. And again, someone looks at the numbers from a couple of years ago and sees, wow, this team was able to produce a hell of a lot if we gave them a little bit more. And so what happens? We give them a little bit more. What happens next is that becomes the new normal for that team. This team now operates at maximum capacity with no space for more. This leader begins to think that this is normal, and this boss absolutely thinks this is normal because this leader has said that. And maybe the team didn't speak up. Maybe the team didn't say anything. Or maybe the team believed that that's okay. So what happens next? Again, we have another change of leadership. We have some people swap around. The team changes again. Now this has become the new normal, but we know from before it wasn't the normal. So this person decides, you know what, I have a great idea for the team to improve production even more. And so the instructions get passed down, and this team, they're right at the maximum, absolute maximum capacity. And then a little bit more gets poured on. And what's happened now? Now we've created a mess. This team starts suffering mental health injuries, people quit, and someone needs to clean up the mess. Their production ends up going down, even though they've been given more. Why? Morale suffering. How did this happen? How did we get from a team that was running really well to a team that's now broken and a chain of command that's frustrated? Well, lack of communication. Maybe the team didn't speak up and say, hey, we're already at our max. We can't do anymore. Maybe this leader didn't know that. Maybe this boss didn't know that because this boss has never actually met the team and is just passing down instructions for the sake of production. So the first point here is that communication is important. This team needs to be honest with this leader about what it's capable of. This leader must understand what his or her team is capable of. And this boss must be receiving clear information from this leader. Because this boss isn't on the ground. This boss can't see what is actually happening and the effect is of his or her instructions. So communication is number 1. Honesty. Honesty in that communication is very important. We all want to produce. We all want to do a good job. We all want to look good for our bosses. But at what cost? Right? We don't want to harm people that we're working with. We don't want to harm people that we're working for. We all want to succeed. And so clear communication, honest communication is how we could have prevented this. Maybe this leader was selfish, didn't care that he or she was hurting this team. Maybe this boss didn't care. That's entirely reasonable too. But it's important, up and down this chain of command, to be clear about what we're capable of, what my team is capable of. Are my ideas helping or hurting? Communication, very, very important. We could have prevented this team from getting hurt. So if you're part of a team, if you're a leader of a team, or if you're the boss of a leader of a team, think about this. The next time you want to change tasks or add tasks to make things better for the sake of production, ask yourself, if you're part of this team, can we handle more? And if you're this leader, you need to know exactly what your team is capable of. And if you're this boss, you need to inspire this leader to give you the truth. You need to inspire this leader to give you the facts, not things that you want to hear, but things that you have to hear for the sake of production overall. There is a way to move forward with good production without hurting anyone in the chain of command. So I hope you think about that the next time you're part of any one of these 3 levels. Good luck with your week. See you next Tuesday.